student. Okay, today we are going to dive into chapter 1, which is Introduction to Organic Structure and Bonding. Basically, this chapter is a new chapter which I developed to assist you in better understanding of what chapter 1 really is. Okay. So in before we go dive further into this topic, we will understand first what is organic chemistry is all about. Organic chemistry is actually the study of the structure, properties, and reaction of organic compound which contain carbon in covalent bonds. So the study of structure determine their chemical composition and formula, and the study of properties include physical, chemical properties, and evaluation of chemical reactivity to understand their behavior. Okay, the study of organic reaction include the chemical synthesis of natural product, drug, which is medicine, and polymer, and study of individual organic molecule in the laboratory via theoretical study. Okay, so in this chapter, you will be introduced to some of the most fundamental principle of organic chemistry. So, with the concept that you learn, you can begin to understand how carbon and a very small number of other elements in the periodic table can combine in predictable way to produce a virtually limitless chemical repertoire. Okay, so chapter 1, as you read through this slide, you will recognize that the chapter contains a lot of review of topic you have probably learned in an introductory chemical course, but there will likely also be a few concepts that are new to you, as well as some topics which are already familiar to you, but cover a greater depth and with some of more emphasis on biologically relevant organic compound. So before we go any further, okay, I would like to share with you an example how organic chemistry do really have relationship with our everyday lives. Okay, this is picture of habanero pepper. Okay, which is one of the hottest chili pepper commonly found in the world. Okay, just imagine this, in a kampung in Parit Raja, you see a lot of they are doing a competition who can eat apa ni the food I mean the most chili the habanero chili pepper in a time given. So just imagine they are sitting in front of a lot of crowd. There is about five contestants. They will race to be the first to eat a full pound of this habanero pepper. Okay, so the once the whistle is being blown, the contestant will start eating the habanero pepper. So at first we can see that during the first minute, okay, during the first second, we can see all the action are normal, okay, which is predictable. However, within 30 seconds after they already consume the habanero pepper, what begin to happen is completely predictable and understandable to anyone who has ever mistakenly put a little too much hot sauce on their dinner plate. Okay, you can see if what you can predict is that the contestant face will turn red, sweat will begin to develop, and tears begin to flow, and a copious amount of water is got down. Because of what? Because of the kepedasan, okay, of this chili. Although technically the contestants are competing against each other, the real opponent in this contest is the source of all the pain and suffering is the chemical compound capsaicin, the source of the heat in the hot chili pepper itself. Okay, what is capsaicin? Okay, capsaicin is actually it composed of four elements, which is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. And capsaicin is produced by the pepper plant for the purpose of warding off hungry mammals. So it's actually a self-protecting mechanism. The molecule that bind to and activate a mammalian receptor protein called TRV1, which is normal circumstances that has the job of detecting high temperature and sending a signal to the brain it is hot and stay away. This strategy worked quite well on all mammalian species except one, we human. as some of us appear to be alone in our tendency to actually seek out the burn of hot pepper in our food. Betul tak? Kadang-kadang kita manusia ni memang suka makan benda-benda pedas. Sebab lagi pedas, sometimes kita go to warung ataupun restoran, we normally order nasi goreng kampung extra pedas. Okay. So interestingly, bird also have the heat receptor protein, which is really similar to the TRV1 receptor in mammal, but birds are all not all sensitive to the capsaicin. Okay, this is the case. There is an evolutionary logic to this. It is to the pepper advantage to be eaten by a bird rather than a mammal, because a bird can spread the pepper seed over a much wider area. Okay. The region of the receptor which is responsible for the capsaicin sensitivity appear to be quite specific. Okay. In 2002, scientists were able to insert a small segment of the capsaicin sensitive into a rat gene into the non-sensitive chicken version of the gene, and the resulting mixed species receptor was sensitive to capsaicin. Okay, so basically they are already do a lab test to measure the level of hotness of this chili. Okay. Okay. So basically, what is organic chemistry? Okay. So organic chemistry, what I explained in the previous slide, in the first slide, is the study of carbon, the compound is made, and the reaction it undergo. Nampak tak tadi saya bercontoh tadi kan berkenaan dengan capsaicin, the habanero pepper. You can see how the chemical reaction happen, and it is signal and then it signal and sends signal to the brain saying that this pepper is very hot, and then the tendency you need to consume water in order to reduce the hotness of the chili itself. Okay, so this actually is all a chemistry reaction that taking place. Okay, over 60 million carbon-containing compounds are known to be found in this world. Okay, because the CC signal bond and the CH bond are strong, carbon compounds are quite stable actually. Okay, they have a quite high energy level to break the bond. Okay, carbon can form chain and also ring. For example, octane, it can also form ethyl benzene. Okay. In carbon compound, it had the same functional group, which refer to homogeneous series, group of atoms found within molecules that are involved in chemical reaction characteristic of those molecules. This is functional group or hydroxyl have functional group OH, carbonyl have functional group of CHO, and carbonyl have a functional group of CO. So for hydroxyl, it being classed into alcohol. For carbonyl, it being classed aldehyde, and for carbonate it being classed into ketone. This slide also show you the structure formula, the example, and also the ball and stick model. Okay, this is example of the homologous series of compounds. Okay, as you highlight the alcohol, the structure, and also the functional group involved in the chemical structure. Okay. Okay, carbon basically differ from each other by CH2 unit, which can be represented by a general formula, which is shown by example CnH2n plus 2 for alkane, or CnH2n for alkene, or you can refer to the below table which shown in the slide. This number of the left of the table show the number of carbon. The word root, the UPAC name, their chemical structure, and the last one is their molecular formula. You can see it start with mass, X, but, pen, hex, hep, oc, non, and dec. So being known as methane, ethane, and so on. Okay. This is okay. This table show you more in depth of their number of carbon, their name, and also their structure for you to provide better understanding of how the carbon is being bonded to hydrogen in the compound. Okay. Basically, the carbon in this series have a similar chemical properties. They are also have same physical properties that vary in a regular manner as the number of carbon increase. Example in this case is alkane. You can see the melting point Uh, but it's big. The melting point is to increase with the increase of the number of carbon atom. Same goes as the boiling point. The boiling point also increase with the increase of carbon in the compound. Same goes to the acidity. It will increase as the number of carbon is being added to the compound is also being increased. Okay, this table show the first several members of the straight chain alkene series. You can see here as the number of carbon and also as the compound is getting bigger in their structure, the boiling point also increase. Okay, trends in boiling point of member of homogeneity. Okay, the melting point and boiling point basically increase with more carbon atom. So you must be wondering why this happened, because intermolecular forces increase with the increase of carbon atom. Adding a CH2 add more electron, in which in case this increase the van der Waals forces. So it require a lot of energy to break this van der Waals forces. Okay, that's why you can see here in the table methane, ethane, propane, and butane. Comparison, the boiling point increase as the number of carbon being added being added one by one the compound, which make the van der Waals forces increase. Okay, okay. This graph here give you a better understanding. You can see the boiling point increase as the number of atom in the chemical compound increase. Okay, okay. This is the empirical formula and structural molecule. Okay, for methane, dinitrogen monoxide, formaldehyde, and also benzene. Okay, what is empirical formula? It is actually the simplest ratio of atom in a molecule. Molecule formula refer to the actual number of atom in a molecule. So you can see in the table on the left, it refer to the empirical formula CH4, for example. Okay, and the molecular formula is shown in the right of the table. You can see the different. Okay, structure formula. Okay, unambiguously show how the atom are bonded together. So it show in detail how the carbon are bonded to the hydrogen in any compound. So it gives you a 2D figure, 2D depiction of how the atom are bonded. Okay. The structure formula can be represented as condensed structure formula in which the bond are omitted, repeat groups put together, and then the side chain put in bracket. You can see why I highlighted in red and blue. You can see the repeated group put together. You can see here in the CH24. Okay, and then the side chain is put in a bracket blue. Is present by a blue. You can see here underneath here the structure formula. Okay, how it's being condensed into this. Okay. This is example. This data give you better understanding that represent the chemical structure of methane, ethane, propane, and butane, their molecular formula, the structural formula, and then the condensed formula is actually an advance of the other molecule or other formula. Okay. And then we will encounter another formula that represent the chemical structure, which is the skeletal formula. However, However, it's not. Ya, ada. Aku cerita aku cicak. Aku dah. Okay. Okay, and then we are going to a skeletal formula not accepted in the IB for not for answer. Okay, actually it not accepted lah for this subject for answer, but often used in question. Every corner represent a carbon, hydrogen are implied. You can see here the the skeletal formula of chloropropane, which represent by the triangle, and then the chlorobutane, which is represented by the boxes, and also how the scatter formula is? Basically, the scatter formula is the simplified formula for all the structure lah we shown. So basically, and then for this chapter we encounter into structural isomer, compound with the same molecular formula but different structure. Okay, in which in the term of arrangement of atom. You can see here in the above example, both have the same formula, which is CH3, H7, and Cl. However, their arrangement of atom are actually different, which means that they have different in structure. Okay. Different isomer are completely different compound. They have different physical properties such as melting point and boiling point. Okay. This table show the properties of ethyl alcohol and dimethyl ether. You can see that the ethyl alcohol basically had the same molecular formula, which is CH2, C2H6, and O. However, their structural formula is quite different. Uh, which directly will influence their boiling point, melting point, and also physiological activities. Okay. This is structural formula for CH4, H10, and O isomer. You can see how the arrangement of atom is very clearly different from one another. Okay. For alkane, the structural formula for the isomer of non-cyclic alkane is up to C6. Hydrocarbon chain were all bond between carbon and all are single bond. Their formula is CnH2n plus 2. Okay. Okay, this is an exercise. Okay, you can draw out and write the structural formula for all the isomer that can be formed. Okay, this and then. Okay, and then naming the UPAC name of non-cyclic alkane up to C6. Determine the longest chain. Use the prefix to denote the number carbon. Okay, monkey eat peel banana. So basically, this represent the sequence of methane, ethane, propane, and butane, pentane, hexane. The number of carbon. Okay. This is actually how you going to name the compound of alkane. So number 3, you use the suffix "-ane" to indicate the substance in an alkane for methane, butane, ethane, and then number the carbon in the chain consecutively starting at the end closest to a substituent, referring to group attached to the main chain most busy and most busy and which refer to uh, uh, the substituent yang consists a lot of group attached to it. Okay. So step number 5, and name and number the location of each substituent. The name of the substituent will be written before the main chain and will end with YL, or just memorize the below. Okay, CH3 is metal, CH2H5 is ethyl, CH3H7 is propyl. And with 2 or more side chain, use prefix di, tri, tetra to indicate when there are multiple side chain of the same type. The step 7, use comma to separate the number and hyphen to separate number or letter. Step number 8, name the side chain in alphabetical order. Okay, so how about this question? C5H12, the isomer are pentane, and then another isomer is that 2-methyl-butane, another one is 2,2-dimethyl-propane. Okay, this is the practice for you to give the nomenclature of alkane. Okay, name this compound. So the first step is that this is an example for step number 1. For a branch hydrocarbon, the longest continuous chain of carbon atom give the root name for the hydrocarbon. Okay, so how many carbon does it have? It has 9 carbon, so it being referred to as nonane. Okay, and then Step number 2. When alkane group appear as a substituent, they are named by dropping the N and adding YL at the end. Okay. So 9 carbon refer to nonane, CH3 refer to methyl, chlorine is represented by chloro. Okay. Step number 3. The position of the substituent group are specified by numbering the longest chain of carbon atom sequentially starting at the end closest to the branching. Okay, 1 until we calculate it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 until 9, not backward, not 9 to 10. Okay, we start at the end that closest to the branching. Okay. Step 4. The location and the name of each substituent are followed by the root alkane name. The substituents are then listed in alphabetical order irrespective of any prefix, and the prefix di, tri, etc. are used to indicate multiple identical substituents. Okay, this example 2-chloro 3,6-dimethyl nonane. Okay, this is and the nomenclature, the structure formula. Okay, and then we go to chapter alkane. Okay, so structural formula for the isomer of the chain alkane are up to C6. Alkane basically have double bond between two or more of the carbon. So basically it have a double bond. Okay. So it being represented by the general formula CnH2n. Okay, so this is exercise, draw out and write the structural formula for all the isomer that can be formed by each of these C2H4, C3H6, C4H8, C5H10, and C6H12. Okay, and so this okay, we go into further into how to name the straight chain of alkene. Okay, in this case up to C6. Okay, the first step, suffix change to an in. Okay, when there are 4 or more carbon atom in a chain, the location of the double bond is indicated by a number. Begin in counting the carbon closest to the end with the C double bond C bond. Okay, numbering the location of the double bond take precedence over the location of any substituent. So you must remember these rules. Okay, naming practice. Okay, so basically choose the correct ending. Okay, so basically you can choose what is the correct ending. So how going to choose this? So we're going to choose this by determining the longest carbon chain with the double bond. Okay, so this route is basically the longest carbon chain that contain double bond in it. Okay, and then assign number to each of this bond. Okay. Okay, we already assigned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, attach prefix according to number of atoms. So basically we have a 6 atom. Okay, here. So 1 hexene. Okay, and then and then the next step is determine the name for the side chain. We have here is ethyl, methyl, and also another methyl group attached to the carbon here. Okay, and then attach name of the branches alphabetically. Okay, so here we follow the alphabetical. We start with ethyl, we have alphabetical order of E, and then methyl, and also methyl, depending on the sequence. Okay, and then group similar branches. We have and then we group the similar branches. So we have 2-methyl, 4,4-dimethyl, 1-hexyl, or 2-ethyl 4,4-dimethyl hex 1 in. So this name the nomenclature that we got is after we already group the similar branches, which is methyl. So it's represented by dimethyl. Okay, this is example of propene, 2-butene, and then the structure of 2,4-dimethyl 2-pentane and 2,4-dimethyl 2-pentoene. Okay. This is another example of how nomenclature of the 3,3-dimethyl 1-pentene is also the same, and also 4,5 dimethyl 2-hexane. You can see the name is the naming is still the same. However, the way the atom is being arrangement of atom is quite different. So it will affect also the physics. So although the name is the same, however the physical properties is different because of the arrangement of the atom. So we come to the last slide of of this chapter. Hopefully you have a better understanding. This slide that I prepared and I recorded is actually a additional slide to prepare to the previous slide which is being shared by with you. Hopefully you have a better understanding. From time to time I will share with you guys from time to time I will share with you guys the questionnaire to in which you need to go through with whether individually or by group to find the answer for the questionnaire that I post. In the you must remember that the question although it's being it can be called as assessment, which I will frequently distribute to you guys, is to ensure that you guys has better understanding of this topic. Hopefully, you will remember my scenario of habanero pepper, of how the kepedasan of the pepper influence our body reaction, our mind, our brain to give to send signal to us saying that the chili is hot, and then our hand will automatically find water to be drink in order to reduce the hotness of the chili. So hopefully you can relate all this the scenario that I've given to you to make sure that you have a better understanding that saying that organic chemistry is not about only about textbook. It actually have a more meaningful experience in your daily life actually. So basically, organic chemistry is a study of our environment or your surrounding itself, from your body and also the surrounding environment where you live. So hopefully with this explanation will have a better understanding of this chapter. And many thanks for listening to this my presentation. Any question you can forward you can raise it in our Q&A session next week. Then many thanks. Have a nice day and take care.